are back in the flesh, in the office. I did feel bad that we missed like the Trump's first 100-day commentary. Like, yes, and it's all bad. But we're here. What's up?
Hi.
How you doing? My name is Jasiri X. I am co-founder and CEO of One Hood Media. And to my immediate right,
it's a miracle.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's the sound of Miracle kicking in backs of the Democrats.
I was back to be a mayhem miracle.
Mayhem.
Oh,
miracle.
we got another.
Miracle the monster.
We got another back to kick in.
Ooh, let's go. You know,
Malicious miracle.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Malice. Mayhem.
Mayhem.
Yes.
Not the
Mischief?
murder was the case. Not that one.
Yeah. Not
Mischief is good.
Mischief is good. I think mischief is probably the best adjective for you.
Mischievous.
Yeah. Mischievous miracle, the Sagittarius.
Yes. Yes, indeed. And who are you today, sir?
I'm the Supreme Asiatic Intelligently Divine. The toxic one from Toronto, the gorgeous gaslighter, the full-time supervillain, part-time hater.
All right.
Yeah.
I like the fit today.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
We all kind of match again.
Yeah, you all kind of got a little something going on. You know what I'm saying?
I got black and white. You got black and white. He's got gray. And it's just, I don't know. We coordinate.
We're coordinating. Yes. So although we missed Trump's first 100 days and they were
we've
terrible.
been living them.
We've been living them. It's bad. It's bad. Like everything's down.
It's like everything. Trump's
It's
White
at
House.
prices.
Yeah.
They're up. Gas up, inflation up, groceries up.
This is really like an overextended version of Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Can I leave though?
I don't think anybody.
Yeah. And then we were right. We called it.
Yeah.
The Trump wanting to be the Pope. We called that.
We're right about so much on here.
Yes, we knew that. I guess
R.I.P. to the Pope, though.
Yeah, R.I.P. to the Pope. I guess when you do have, Trump's old. And again, we don't talk about Trump's age
enough
the way we talked about Biden's age. You know what I'm saying?
I think because Biden looked every day of his age.
And sounded like it. Biden would come out and he would be moving kind of slow. But Trump is almost as old. Not older than Biden,
okay.
Almost as old. And sometimes,
the president ages you what? The presidency ages you what? 2 years per year?
But that's if you try to do the job. Does Trump really?
Maybe that's why he's tanking, so he doesn't feel the effects of aging for the presidency.
Trump really? Again, they have to, according to what they're saying, they can't give him any bad news. They have to give him only good news and only celebratory stuff.
I think that should be the case for all of us. I only want good news from here on out. It's not a bad policy.
And when he hears critique, he goes crazy.
Yeah.
Right? I guess Karl Rove has some critique of him. He writes his long posts. He just attacked Jasmine Crockett.
Yeah. Called her a low IQ person.
Right, because Jasmine Crockett has been a voice that has been very, very critical of him. So that's what he does. But, sometimes when it comes to old people and technology,
before we talk about this, can I tell you a story about this, an anecdote?
Yes, sure.
My father went through, like many other black parents did in the 90s, went through spouts of unemployment. Yes. Right? My dad, when we first got a computer, thought that the internet had business hours. So he would sit in front of the computer putting in resumes from 9 to 5. Like it was a job.
What? Your father's gonna beat you.
So funny.
My dad just found out how to find me on YouTube.
Oh my
After
God.
how many episodes? He just found out we had a show.
You don't send him the link?
No. Why would I do that?
Wow.
Well, apparently Donald Trump doesn't understand Photoshop.
I mean, is that surprising? I don't
Absolutely
understand
not.
Photoshop.
But you understand. You can look at a picture and say this is Photoshop.
Yes.
You don't understand Photoshop.
I result the implication, Miracle.
Bro, you send memes every day of real life.
Why I got ops on the show? Niggas sound like the feds.
Why you just gonna lie?
Niggas sound like the feds out here, bro. Like they trying to get me deported.
I just want to point out, just unprompted, he lied, and again,
unprompted for no reason. Didn't even benefit him.
Listen,
he just lied off the cuff.
He gave no benefit to the conversation. Just like, let me just put this lie in here.
It's getting hot.
But anyways, continue on.
Can we play the clip of Donald Trump being interviewed and not understanding that this picture that was supposed to be this picture of Mr. Garcia, this person that has not been charged with anything, that they said by their own admission mistakenly sent to El Salvador, and a Supreme Court said you have to bring him back. They're not going to bring him back. Here's Trump trying to explain that he's definitely in MS-13 because he has MS-13 tattooed on his hand. This is not a parody. This is not a parody. This actually happened in real life.
Hold on. The top comment is, Photoshop is pretty generous. They edited that on a Word document.
Of a gang, and then they looked, and on his knuckles he had MS-13.
There's a dispute.
Well, wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me
That was Photoshopped. Terry, you can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. I picked you, Terry, but you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
Yes.
I saw the picture.
Yes.
We'll
bring out the picture, please.
Well, here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine, sir. I want to get to Ukraine.
No. He had MS as clear as you can be, not interpreted.
Yes.
This is why people no longer believe the news, because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go on. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
Why would you not go on?
They
Take a look at the
but they're
photograph.
there now, right?
No,
but
they're in your picture.
He wants to talk about it.
He's got MS-13 on his knuckles.
All right.
Okay,
we'll take a look.
You do such a disservice.
We'll take a look at that.
Why don't you just say yes, he does, and go on to something else?
It's contested.
It wasn't like, I don't understand. Like at that point, to me, this is the story. This man he's the president of the United States. He's quote unquote the leader of the free world. Believes that this typewriter photoshopped is actually on this man's hand.
There was something I read, and I'm sure Miracle's probably going the same direction, that a lot of people were upset that Terry didn't push the issue enough.
Yes.
That was the discourse I had seen online.
Correct.
Like
you have to stop and say, wait a second.
You're lying.
No, not you're lying. Like, I have a literal insane person in front of me, but the difference is this man has his post on the button that could cause nuclear war. Yeah. Like, this is a big thing. Like, this man in front of me doesn't understand Photoshop and how it works.
Yeah.
And literally, like, did somebody tell him that? That would be my first. Wait a second. Is this what they're telling you? Yeah. Did they tell you that this is a tattoo, or do you automatically believe that? There's so many questions that
and that's the thing. Like, I don't know if this is plausible deniability. I don't know if they're just, if they're trying to they're fleecing the president. You know what I mean? If people are committing like an insurrection from within the Trump administration, like trying to usurp the Trump administration and kind of make him as a scapegoat. And in order to bring about this new regime, to me, that's kind of what I think almost is happening at this point. That he's just almost, and this isn't to indemnify or remove him from any harmful things that he's done. Right. But I almost feel like he's being made out to be this scapegoat for this brewing coup that's happening within the Trump administration. That's a more dangerous, insidious, right-wing, theocratic movement.
Again, see, I would think that, again, it just seems like there's not enough intelligence around him.
Is that my tinfoil hat shit? Like, I have the aluminium.
Yeah, again, maybe, because I would see if who's the Cheney then? Remember how it was like George
Dick
W.
Cheney
Bush with Dick Cheney, and he had all this experience.
What if it was Kash Patel, like the dark horse was Kash Patel?
I don't know, but then they're saying Kash Patel, who's in charge of the FBI, is like in the clubs. Like he's literally be in the clubs all the time. Like he don't even be at the FBI. This is what they're saying.
There's a joke to be made, but I'm not going to make it.
Exactly. So I don't know. Yes, relax. All right. So I don't know. Miracle.
Kash Patel smoke a hookah is crazy. Him getting bottles and smoke a hookah is crazy.
I mean, but that's what they're saying, right? Yeah. That's what the FBI is saying. But again, so who is it? Is it Rubio? Like, is Rubio the puppet master? Like, who is the? It's not Hegseth. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it could be.
Who? Hegseth?
Just to think about what he is SecDef. So
I don't think it could be. I mean, bro, the dude can't
I'm not
even
saying
keep
he's
his
intelligent.
business
I'm saying
off signal. So like, how can he be a manipulator of?
I'm not saying manipulator, but planting evidence or setting things up.
I don't think so. I mean, like, again, I think that's tinfoil. I just, who is that person? If there was somebody, like, is it Stephen Miller? I don't know. Miracle.
I mean, Rubio is, I had to look it up to get it right.
Yeah, because he has like 4 jobs now,
both the Secretary of State and the National Security Advisor. So theoretically,
and is that like stereotypical of like a Latino person? Is that?
No, because the last person.
Oh my God.
He's going to give all the jobs.
Oh my God.
Go give the Latino dude all the jobs. Like, I can see Trump thinking that. Like, oh, he's Latino. He can do all the jobs.
What if he called him like deputy of gardening or some shit like that?
You know he wants to. You know he wants to. Miracle.
Oh, man.
He's Cuban, yes.
But the last person who did this was, I believe, Henry Kissinger. Mm-hmm. So again, if we're thinking about who could be like a mastermind and could, push Trump on out, is someone who was not always a Trump loyalist.
True.
But you never know. But be that as it may,
right.
I don't think that Trump is being taken advantage of, because again, the cruelty is the point, and it doesn't matter if he knows what is going on or what doesn't. All he knows is people are being harmed,
right?
And that's what
he
makes
doesn't
him
care.
Happy.
Yeah,
and that is what they are trying to do. Yes,
but the fact that the president doesn't understand that picture is Photoshop, or is it that he doesn't care, or if he doesn't understand that?
Listen,
then like either. When somebody gives him that picture and he believes it's true, like, isn't it their responsibility to say, like, Mr. President, it's actually, I don't know.
Mr. President, there is not cheese on the moon. Mr. President, there are no monsters under your bed.
You would think so, and you would hope so. But again, if people are running based off of ego and white supremacy, they don't need to tell him anything. Right? All they need to tell him is some person is being taken from their family, some person's being kidnapped and rendition. That's what they need to tell him. That's what they tell him. But again, what I always say is the gang database had errors before Trump was there. People look at these tattoos that folks have and they give them, nefarious interpretations, and now people on a gang database, people in prison.
Right.
And so these have been wrong. Police have known they have been wrong for years.
Right.
And so he doesn't have to get it right, because that is the practice. And again, if you could just say, hey, this person's a threat, that's all people want to hear, so they can think, okay, Democrats are fighting for criminals, instead of being like, no, Democrats are fighting for due process that we are all going to need at some point.
So it is looking like that they're not going to bring this man back under any circumstances, despite the fact that the Supreme Court said
you need to bring him back.
Right. So,
but the Supreme Court didn't say he has to come back to the United States. They said you could put him somewhere else, But they're
not doing that. It doesn't seem like
they didn't even say he needs to come back alive.
Right. Well, so what? I guess my question, Miracle, like what is the next step? Like we have a president doesn't understand Photoshop, like is watching shit at late night. We'll get it's more stuff that we're getting into.
I mean, the bad place.
Right. We had a guy, and if you play this next clip, Fruit. We had a president where they asked him, "Do you need to uphold the Constitution as president?" A very direct question. Can you play that clip? Whenever he does interviews, and I don't, again, but he loves to do interviews.
You give people a mic and they just incriminate themselves.
Yes. He has 34 felonies.
Even given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know.
I don't know.
The question was, Mr. President, don't you need to uphold the Constitution? His response, I don't know.
But even given those numbers that you're talking about, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know. I have to respond by saying again, I have brilliant lawyers that work for me, and they are going to obviously follow what the Supreme Court said. What you said is not what I heard the Supreme Court said. They have a different interpretation.
He said, I don't know.
That's
So
really
again,
not how the law
right,
I'm about to say that's
he said get someone else to do it. I don't know if it's going to be me. And again, I keep saying that I think the United States is headed toward a military coup.
Yes.
I don't think it's going to be repeat. I even think it may be one of the prior Biden or Obama appointees, because you can't say that you don't know if you're supposed to uphold the Constitution.
I mean, you can't. I mean, he just said it though. He just said it.
He did, but I'm saying the whole point of the oath of office is you swear a duty to uphold the Constitution and the laws of the United States.
Could you say that again, please?
Like the whole point of being a president, elected official, you swear an oath to the Constitution to uphold the laws of the United States.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole thing. And it's like he has the presidency, he has the Senate, and he has the House. If he wanted to make changes to the way things are, he could just pass a bill.
May I read?
But that would be, I feel like if he passes a bill, in Trump's mind, he wants the credit. So like passing a bill would be like that Congress did that, or saying like Trump wants to be the person that like he did the tariffs. He didn't ask anybody. I'm doing the tariffs. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. But it is interesting. They're saying they came out and said a HEDSEF is going to cut 20% of the military senior ranks. Remember, the first thing they did when they got in, they got rid of all the heads of all the military. They got rid of all the military lawyers. Now they're cutting 20. And it just, when I see this.
I mean, the older people who know what's going on is wrong and have.
But when I see this, it's like, where are all these, we love the troop Republicans? Where are all these, we love the Army, we love the Navy, we love the troops? Like, if Biden said, I'm going to cut 20% of the generals, these motherfuckers would be going crazy. Oh, they hate the military. They hate us. This motherfucker was been in mad signal chats, and not and there's no response. You were going to say something?
Well, because we've been messaged, we've had voicemails left on.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the
that accuse us of lying.
Yes,
and specifically when it comes to matters of legal facts.
Yes.
I'm going to read Article 2, Section 1 of the Constitution, which is the presidential oath. And it goes like this. This is verbatim.
Yes.
I do solemnly swear that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States, and I will do the best of my ability to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. So when you are asked, is it your duty as president to uphold the Constitution? There is only one answer. This is not a multiple choice.
And that answer is, I don't know.
Like, I don't know is not on the test, Donald. So there's no other answer to that.
But again, it's him believing he is above.
Right. But that's why the governmental
system. If this dude is saying, I want to be the Pope, right? He does not see him. He's like, I know better than the Constitution.
I know better than God.
I know better than the 4 and 5. Right.
He's the person who said, no one has done more of a religion than me.
Yes.
Not God, not Jesus. Donald Trump.
So I guess,
Cheeto Jesus.
And so that's where it becomes like, where are all these like, we believe in law and order and the rule of law and we're carrying around the Constitution. Like, where are these people at? I mean, you got Lindsey Graham saying Trump should be the Pope. So it's like the level of, as the youngins say, the level of glazing. The level of Trump glazing is nuts, man. This is a sitting senators saying he believes Trump should be Pope. Like, yo, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is where we are. You were gonna say something. We have one more clip from Donald Trump. Oh, no, we have a couple more. Should we play this?
Let's play this one. Because this is crazy. This is fucking crazy.
We got another one after that.
Courts, because the courts have all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they said, maybe you have to have trials. We're going to have 5 million trials. Doesn't work. Well, you wouldn't have a country left. But hopefully the Supreme Court will save it. But what they've done is a very, very serious thing. You know,
checks and balances, my nigga. There are 3 branches of government. One of them is judicial.
And remember, the judge who came out and said that Trump's use of the Alien Enemies Act is unlawful.
Yes.
He was a federally appointed judge, and he was appointed by Donald Trump. Donald Trump appointed this man. And he said, yo, you're going too far. But again, when you see them weaponizing their whole media force at radicalized judges, it's like he's attacking you now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like now
self-preservation comes in.
Because he doesn't want a Supreme Court. He doesn't want a Congress. He wants to be able to wake up in the morning and say, hey man, hey yo, I seen this wild ass movie.
Well, I ran everything.
No, you know what I think we should do? Because I seen this wild ass movie. I think we should reopen Alcatraz. The nigga watched Escape from Alcatraz.
Yeah. Art is inspiring.
And then
art is inspiring.
Turned around and said, despite this place not being open since not the 60s, it's a museum now.
Yeah.
Like to reopen that space.
And you know what makes this even crazier? Is this is the same fucking interview.
It is
That's what makes it seem.
And like I got invited to do a tour, and I was like, I am morally opposed to
all your
touring a prison.
I'm morally opposed to prisons, and so I didn't go. People got mad at me, but I was like, I'm not going to this.
Yeah.
It's like, for what?
And now I probably should have gone.
Oh yeah.
This is what it was when it was a museum before it is the prisons. Man just wants to put everybody.
It was closed in 1963.
Yeah.
What else was happening in the 60s?
Wasn't civil rights happening in the 60s? People would probably know about that if it wasn't taken out of schools.
It seems like the time he wants to make it great is very peculiar.
Did you want to play that clip?
Did you decide to reopen Alcatraz? Can you walk us through that decision?
Did I say what?
To reopen Alcatraz. How will you use it? How did you come up with the idea?
Well, I guess I was supposed to be a movie maker. We started with the movie making and we'll end. I mean, it represents something very strong, very powerful in terms of law and order. Our country needs law and order. Alcatraz is, I would say, the ultimate, right? Alcatraz, Sing Sing and Alcatraz.
Sing Sing, Jesus Christ.
But
you're missing Attica.
It's right now a museum, believe it or not. A lot of people go there. It housed the most violent criminals in the world, and nobody ever escaped. One person almost got there, but they, as you know the story, they found his clothing rather badly ripped up, and it was a lot of shark
Was that
bites,
the movie?
A lot of problems.
Was that real?
Nobody's ever escaped from Alcatraz, and this represented something.
I beg to differ.
Strong, having to do with law and order. We need law and order.
There was a whole
movie.
There was an old British gentleman.
Look at it. Some of the people up here are going to be.
All right, you can kill that, man. You can kill that again, man. This is your king. I mean, it doesn't matter that prices are down. You know, he's out there telling people like you don't need $30, only get $2. It doesn't matter that the tariffs are negatively affecting these business people. He doesn't really care about y'all. I mean, and again, we tried to tell you.
I go back to some of the comments that I've seen because I usually don't read the comment sections.
Yes.
Right. But some of the comments we got on here, I remember this was about a year ago.
Yeah.
When someone accused me of using the word totalitarian incorrectly.
Oh, okay. You remember that one, huh?
Yeah. Is that not what this is? Like when you are trying to circumvent the court system and effectively erase all of the checks and balances that would prevent you from having, I don't know, let's say patriarchal status.
Yeah.
That is totalitarianism. You are trying to reign over the country throughout every modality possible. You're overseeing agriculture, you're overseeing economics, you're overseeing education and legalities and all these other things, so to where the buck stops at you. All these issues bottleneck with the president. You're no longer a president, you're a dictator.
Yeah.
And that's exactly by definition what that is. Authoritarianism. It's totalitarianism. It is the same thing America fancied itself fighting against in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, against the Ruskies and the Nazis and all these other things.
Right.
And now you have and arguably done better than they have at replicating it.
Again, you're absolutely right. And
I know. It's
like,
just fucking mad that it's like, here we are.
Sorry. But it's a thing of like, not only are you, he said, I know. It's a thing of like,
I'm right, man.
But because it's like the person you wanted to win. I always think about like, what is going to be the line? Like, I mean,
they keep moving, the Overton window is so far.
I'm saying for these like Trump lovers.
Yeah.
Like, when is it that, their livelihoods are destroyed? Is it when they're sick and they can't get any health care?
Are there any MAGA tombstones?
I'm sure they probably are. You know what I'm saying? So like, what is the, like when the economy, again, worst stock market we've had since the Great Depression. I mean, it's all there. Mm-hmm. Like all the signs are there that this is going absolutely terribly. So at what point, I wonder, is it when these MAGA folks like get off of the Trump train, or is it just like they're like, this is their man? It's like a game. Like
this, the Titanic. They go down with the ship.
Is there a point, Miracle, where no?
Fuck Donald Trump. Fuck Donald Trump. Think about when Nazi Germany fell, people took their lives, right?
Mm-hmm.
The lives of themselves and their children. So there is never a point really where people who have drunk the Kool-Aid kind of like wake up, like en masse. You'll probably have like one or two people.
That was an amazing whirlwind of metaphors you just put down.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Trying. You'll have one or two people escape, from the cult.
You're cooking, right?
But in theory, once you have people, the sunken costs are too expensive for them to sit there and say that they are wrong. So they'll lose their house. They'll be hungry. They'll be homeless. They'll have some, mythical immigrant to blame. Yeah. But they're not going to lay it at Trump's feet, which is stupid.
What's wild is like the only thing he really did when it came to like keeping his campaign promise was like pardon all the January 6th. Like, that's the only thing. Because remember, he said he was going to end.
What matters the most to these people.
True. He said he was going to end the Ukraine-Russia war. That's still going on.
He said it was complicated.
He said he would get a ceasefire.
He called a war a Facebook status. He updated the status of the war and the relationship to complicated.
They are supposed to be winding down because Ukraine signed this mineral deal with the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it becomes this idea
at gunpoint.
Yes,
Miracle.
No.
It's still bombing happening.
I'm trying to say something.
Oh, my bad.
No, I was saying it comes to a point where he is doing these things not for the benefit of the world, but for the enrichment of him.
Yes.
This mineral deal brings millions and billions of dollars.
Good language
to
there.
Like his corporations and friends. This proposed deal for Gaza gives the United States and him and his friends once again millions of billions of dollars in this land, and then has this buy-in to have like this military base that he and his friends gets to own. So all his campaign promises have been moved from like actually being the person who's going to be the one to end all wars, but how can I benefit from this thing? And you just saw for the first time, members of the GOP actually push back against legislation because they're like, we're tired of funding these wars.
Right.
So you need to do something. So again, the pressure that he's feeling isn't these campaign promises. It's the fact that he has to keep his base a little bit intact, like the voting base. With a lot of the stuff he can't just unilaterally do because he doesn't have that much support across the board, because a lot of people didn't like Pete, right? You know, Marco Rubio got 99 votes. Pete got barely in his 60s,
Not
right?
one single Democrat, although one Democrat almost voted for him, and we will talk about that in a minute when we get into the back kicking portion of
but yes, so I just think that I know I did a talk before, and it's like sometimes people in power, if they just do the right thing, they can have as much power as they want.
Absolutely.
Like if Trump tomorrow was like, you know what, I'm just going to fix infrastructure, I'm going to fix Medicare, I'm going to fix student debt, I'm going to fix all this type of stuff.
Is there a movie that has all those themes in it that we can,
that we can play? You know, people won't resist as much. I always tell people there would be no progressives if y'all just let people live, right? People would not be organizing and mobilizing, but because you force people to these margins, they and respond and fight back. And so I just wish we could just be in a world where we just didn't have to like fight every day for survival.
I just want when we say like keep the same energy, and that's where to me the hypocrisy, but like, you know, there was an article that Trump's sons are doing all these deals across Europe and the Middle East that are bringing in billions of dollars for Trump. And it's like, when it was Hunter, it was like, I mean, you were going crazy. But when it's Trump's family, you're okay with it, right? And that's when, to me, it's like, oh, you're not really principled and you really don't care about these issues as a whole. You just are glazing, right? You're just down with whatever this man does. And to see like the mental gymnastics that all of his people, like he says something wild and crazy and they got to go out there and pretend they know what he's saying and pretend to back it. And that's my piece. Like, just say, yo, I'm a white supremacist. I like Donald Trump because he's cruel to black and brown people. Like, just say that. But don't try to act like this man is some, like, as he clowns the Pope, you want to act like he's some Christian, some big Christian and bringing back family value. Like, come on, let's be real. That's all I want. All I want is
you're asking
real.
For a lot, bro.
Yeah, I'm obviously. We had a story come out about our senator. You know, we have a senator.
Who is R?
In
what
Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, we have a senator named John Fetterman. John Fetterman comes.
You see, this inclusive language that he keeps trying to use.
We're based in Western Pennsylvania. John Fetterman comes from Western Pennsylvania. He is a politician that we've known for a long time. We've known about him, you know what I'm saying, for a very long time. What? You didn't know about?
What is all this we, this us, this R?
What I'm saying
this ownership.
Is he is a Pennsylvania senator. We only have two. He's one of them. You know what I'm saying? And the other one we haven't seen. Both these motherfuckers have been MIA. Like, the other dude we haven't seen. Fetterman we haven't seen at all. And what's interesting, because Fetterman went from this like kind of like cult figure, the guy who would put on the hoodies and the shorts and have a beer with you. And he had all the tattoos of the dead people that died in Braddock. And when he was the mayor of Braddock, and he seemed like, and had a stroke, and now has become somebody that is, to a lot of people that supported him and voted for him. And again, at one time you mentioned, he identified as a progressive. He was like the progressive hope in some ways. And now he's become a senator that a lot of people think might become a Republican. He was the first Democratic senator only to visit Donald Trump, to vote for Pam Bondi as Attorney General. All of his staff are leaving. There are questions about his mental health in this article.
Does he got worms too?
Well, again, he had a traumatic brain injury, and obviously that takes time to fix.
If you ever recover from it.
Right, if you ever recover. And obviously that takes like you being on a strict plan. According to this article, and this was by The Atlantic, this man was his chief of staff. This wasn't somebody that like was there for a couple of days. This is somebody that was like, has been with him since his rise.
Yeah.
Now saying like, I got all these concerns. And a lot of it came around his, again, he just said some crazy statements. Miracle. I imagine like, you know, like Fetterman on the ground, like in a curled up position in Miracle tying up her boots, super tight,
just tap dancing,
ready to rain fire on this dude.
I just want to push back on this idea that mental health and a brain injury makes you a racist piece of shit. You are a racist piece of shit because that's who you choose.
Because
to be.
You chased down a black man in your neighborhood. You saw a black man running and assumed he had to be the gunman.
Number one. Number two, people have given Fetterman the benefit of the doubt. And these are the people he turned on first. It was progressives after he had his stroke that were fighting for him, that were talking with people about to vote for why they should vote for him. It was Palestinians who fundraised for him, who were bringing him and inviting him into the communities that he just 100% completely shut out.
Yeah.
I think it is unconscionable that we get to baby him because he is a white man who had a mental health issue, when in reality, if it was any other person driving erratically, being violent, threatening people, saying horribly Islamophobic stuff, they would be called to account. There has been more accountability for college students who had an anti-Semitic sign than it has been for a sitting senator who said he believes all Palestinians must die.
Right.
Like, we have to be very real with what we're dealing with. This is not someone who was just like, I'm gonna pick a side. This is someone who's been cruel. This is someone who has done everything he can to actually crap on the movement he helped at one point talk about.
Yes.
Whether it was trans rights or legalization of cannabis or getting second and third chances, you cannot say you're advocating for progressive values while palling around with people who do the opposite and voting for people who are going to put into places systems and policies that go against everything you believe in. Pam Bondi talking about suing universities because they have trans athletes. How do you support trans people when that's the person you voted for?
And shout out to the Maine governor who said she was going to take Trump to court, stood up to Trump, took him to court and won, and got her dollars. Shout out to her. Yes.
Right. And so he could have at any given time resigned. He could have said, hey, I have these issues. I do not feel like I'm able to engage and represent the people of Pennsylvania fairly and justly. He hasn't, right? That is that ego that will not allow him to step aside.
Yes.
And it's also this idea that he has spent the last 2 years almost supporting, thumbs upping, and abating and abetting a genocide. When that man came to Pittsburgh and said he was going to essentially give a bomb threat and bomb students at the University of Pittsburgh, John said, I love that, and gave a thumbs up.
Right.
When there were people who were saying, hey, children died in this Lebanese terror attack because it was a terror attack, he said, well, I loved it, and we should do more of these pager things. It's great.
I mean, he just came out and said we should wipe Iran off, like a bomb Iran or wipe Iran off. Just like, again, as if there aren't like
people there.
There aren't human beings. It's weird.
This idea that we have to chase black people out of our neighborhoods, bomb brown people out of their neighborhoods because that is what will allow us to have a better world is white supremacy.
100%.
He is and has abetted a white supremacist policy.
True.
And people gave him the benefit of the doubt because he was saying, well, hey, I'm gonna change these policies that are hurting your people in the long run. But when he was calling around and getting black people kicked out of and having their art taken down, that was okay. When he was chasing down black joggers, that was okay. When he was trying to stop black politicians from getting elected, that was okay.
Right.
So now that he possibly may be a physical threat,
right,
because he is someone who is uncontrollable with a firearm,
right,
now people want to come out and say something. But when he was creating actual harm,
right,
when he was going to Israel and advocating for more harm,
right,
when he told people he would refuse to advocate for humanitarian aid, when he refused to condemn sexual violence, when he refused to negotiate that any aid given had to be within the human rights conditions and bounds of international law, no one wanted to say anything. But now a person who has enacted violence and supported violence abroad for 2 years, now that he wants to be violent at home, people are like, wait a minute, we may need help.
Well, I think it was a combination of all. And just to go on to your comment about what he said, according to this article, he met with J Street. And J Street is a Jewish organization.
Oh, damn. I thought that was like a hood nigga or something.
No, J Street. He thought it was like, yo, new mixtape by J Street.
I know what J Street says. It's nigga head. No, my man J Street.
J Street and J Street is an organization that calls itself pro-Israel and pro-peace, right? But J Street met with a Jewish organization that's against what Netanyahu's doing. According to this man's notes, Ben Ami, Fetterman said, you quote, "You can't reform a carton of sour milk." He also said that he had never met an Arab person who would condemn Hamas. Only one single Arab has met with his staff that would outright condemn Hamas, which is such an insane piece, right? Because there's been so many. Again, we'll pass that. And then according to this man's notes, he said, "Let's get back to the killing. Kill them all." Now, Fetterman did say he denied that account and said any reference to killing was solely about Hamas. But like you said, like when you see, again, like now you're coming out and talking about like just wipe out Iran, just go to war with Iran. And you see it done in such a cavalier way. But it also is, so I think it's a combination. Obviously, according to this article, because of these views, many of his staff quit because of these views. But also, and combined with like there was a video of him on a plane like arguing, suppose he got in a car crash. So it's also like he has these views and he might be a threat to individual. Like he needs to go get himself better instead of being in the Senate.
It goes back to the Trump question that we had at the top of the hour.
Absolutely right. Yeah.
People do not care if you are incompetent or even incapacitated. As long as you're doing the work of empire and killing black and brown people somewhere, you get to stay in power.
You are on it.
As long as you're hurting black and brown people somewhere, you still get to be supported and you get to keep all of like your nice things. Had Fetterman been advocating for a ceasefire, this story would have came out. He would have been gone. He would have been gone today.
Very true. Very true. It would have been like a firestorm of like people demanding he resign.
And Schumer didn't even say, "Hey, we need to have a conversation to clarify that. Let me call you in." But I just think about how Rashida Tlaib has been treated, and you just do a comparison and contrast.
Ilhan Omar, look at how she's been treated. Yeah,
like think about the black and brown women of the Congress and the Senate have been treated vastly different than this white man who literally got stopped and caused a car accident. Right?
Yes.
So like there have been reasons to say, "Hey, we need as Senate leadership to have a conversation, have a call in." Ignoring the fact that he has not been responsive to the people of Pennsylvania, ignoring the fact that he hasn't had town halls, not even a telephone talk.
Absolutely not. Won't even answer the phone.
Ignoring the fact that he is a senator who has missed the most votes.
Yes.
Taking all of this stuff away.
Yeah.
The fact that he believes that he does not have to represent the people of Pennsylvania.
Correct.
By showing up and doing the work is just the epitome of white supremacy. Because I guarantee you, Summerlee, who has not missed one single vote, right? Had she been like, I'm going to miss 30% of my vote.
Yes.
I'm just going to go on vacation.
Mad attack ads.
Yes. People would be irate. People would be at her door right now.
Yes.
But the fact that it's this white man and he has a mental health issue and he has maybe a physical health issue, we're just going to ignore it. When I've always said, for me as someone who has lived with being sick my whole entire life, the fact that when he got sick, he has not done any disability justice work, no legislation, no raising awareness about what stroke is, what therapy he's been able to get, hasn't shared those resources. That shows you what type of person. I just want to show you what type of person he is. Yes. Think about the people that we know who get sick.
Yeah.
They always tell people, I went to this doctor, I tried this treatment. Even when the people who be pushing, what's that the seed oil and all type of stuff. Like
don't disrespect my sea moss miracle.
Yes, you know what I'm talking about, right? We're always sharing, right? And this idea that he gets to have access to the best treatment in the world
and don't want to go,
doesn't want to go, but doesn't even share it with people.
Yeah.
You know, you don't hear how he's like had different stroke groups or stuff like that. It makes me angry.
I want to touch on something
irate.
you said because you did say something because you called this miracle the epitome of white supremacy. And if this isn't the epitome of white supremacy, I think our next story might be the epitome of white supremacy because a white woman in Minnesota called a black child the N-word multiple times and has since raised almost $700,000 after all of these racial slurs, and it's on video. It's not like we're questioning this. This white woman is on video saying the N-word multiple times.
This is America.
Can you play that clip? And the clip is bleeped out. I wish it wasn't bleeped. I wish there was an uncensored clip so y'all could, but you know, free speech would have to bleep it anyway. So go ahead.
Call him the child? Did you call the child the word? It is my own business. You call him. Okay, why don't you have the boss to say it right now again? Okay. All right, that's what you say.
She's repeating the word 3 times.
Yes.
Nobody digging to you.
A little kid just did, you dumb.
That little kid, you call him a.
Yeah.
The little child?
What if he acts like one? He's gonna.
Are you about to hit him? You chase him here?
He took my son's stuff.
So that gives you the right to call the child 5-year-old and the N-word.
If that's what he's gonna act.
That's what you're gonna call him.
That's what he's gonna act like.
You know that's a hate speech, and you can be the that.
I don't give a.
So this woman, do we have her name? I don't see her name.
Yeah, I don't know her name.
She has raised almost $700,000. It says basically people are donating, saying white unity will unite, white and strong, white rise. These young generations of whites are sick of the bullying and intimidation and are made to shut up about race issues. They call us
Shiloh. What? Oh,
yeah,
Shiloh Hendricks.
That's her name?
Shiloh Hendricks.
Oh, that's interesting.
Who identified herself as a mother who appeared to use a slur in the video. Hendricks
appeared to use? She used it like 5 times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, again, this is why we have this show.
But the reason
this is
amazing why? Because I hope that kids' parents has lawyers.
Yes.
Because they can sue and they can get a hold of this money.
Oh, wow.
So all these people who have been funding her can theoretically
just like when the church got the rights to the name of Proud Boys.
Like I think that I hope that there is a lawyer involved readily who can litigate injunction so she can't get access to this funds, and then that they get to have access to like this funding for what like she was doing. But again, I've said this for years. People be racist.
People be racist.
We do have a show called This Week in White Supremacy, and we try to tell people like white supremacy exists, and they be calling us like, there's no white supremacy. Look at this.
Someone said
shucking and jiving for. These are the people y'all be silent, want to be friends for, and invite to the cookout. When it's like, if y'all are going to be racist, say it with your chest.
She said it with her chest. She did.
Like, this white lady on our voicemail said, I've never seen a white supremacist. Can you show me one?
Yes.
Well, white lady who phoned in and left 3 consecutive voicemails. Her name is Shiloh Hendricks. She lives in Rochester, Minnesota.
Yes.
She is a white supremacist. There you go.
And again, it's like a child. Like, you're talking about like a 5-year-old who might see something or see a toy or see a bag and be curious as a child is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like this child is some like master thief, right? And goes and looks in the bag. It's like, oh, excuse me, little boy. This isn't yours. This is mine.
She lucky that wasn't my baby, because like, yo, if that was my youth there, oh my God, like, I'm beating her and a baby.
Drop kick that child out of her hands.
Yep, she getting fucked up.
I'm not like
we don't believe in violence on this show.
Who's we? There he goes.
That we again, you see? But I would say,
I believe in violence and larceny.
No. But I think the truth of the matter is that
you're going to teach your
a part of our
yes. Those are the ways of the world we live in.
Or teaching this 5-year-old to dig in the bags.
Our social construct and contract with each other is that we have to be a collective, and you have to be the village to raise kids, right? And so the way that you approach a child that's misbehaving isn't like that. Even if you're,
of course,
you're stressed out and frustrated,
and you're a mom. It's I can understand. Well, not even understand, but let's say you don't have a child.
My friend just said the other day, most people didn't want to have kids. The kids just happened. And you think about a lot of people. A lot of people do not plan to be parents. So you have a lot of parents who are just stressed out with these children. And it's again, if we had a better country where people had the resources that they needed to raise their children, they would be okay. You wouldn't be freaking out that somebody was playing with your child's toy because you may or not be able to replace it, or you can't afford if it gets broke or something. You would just have better community and communal ideas and approaches to issues if we just had a better country, but we don't. So you have this racist, white supremacist response stuff. And again,
but do you think that's because of the way the country is, or is because of this is who she is inherently as a person?
And I think right now our country is rewarding violence, and I know probably go to our next story. Sometimes, violence gets a response back.
Oh, yes.
But I do think that we are being driven to this tribal individualistic society.
Yes.
Where you want to reward people for being the biggest bully.
True.
And there. That's kind of what Trump's thing was to be the biggest bully. Caring doesn't get you the places that you want to be. Power and violence does. And I think we have to really course correct, because this person is getting over $500,000 for saying slurs. What is the next
almost
person
$1 million
going to do the same type of thing, to get the same type of clout?
Right. Well, again, I think that it is just proof positive that white supremacy exists. And kind of like you said, that when you're white and you choose violence, or you choose that you get rewarded for it, that's the ultimate sign that we're in a white supremacist society, that Trump is rewarded, Fetterman is rewarded, this woman is rewarded. If you're white and you call for violence against black and brown people, no matter what status you have in this society,
you're protected.
You get rewarded for that, you get protected for that, you get money for that, you get resources for that. But again, if we're black, and we are, and we call for violence.
Are we, Miracle? Do we need to
again, you just had a situation. Oh shit! You just had a situation where a man, I think it was in Cincinnati, son was killed by the police, and then he turned around and killed a police officer. Now again, I don't know the full details of the case. But I know
he stood 10 toes when they brought them deputies in to try to punk him.
Absolutely, but it's when we're violent, when black and brown people are violent, we're always these criminals that need to be thrown under whatever jail, and we need to be murdered. The young man who was defending himself, Carmelo Anthony, right? Mm-hmm. We're the whole book gets thrown at him, but white people, to me, this is the biggest sign, can be violent and willfully violent, laughing in your face violent. And again, all the January 6ers got pardoned. Mm-hmm. There was no, if there was a pardon for quote unquote Black Lives Matter protesters, these white people be going crazy.
They lose their fucking heads, bro. And so they would actually probably burn this place down.
Right. We had a incident at our ballpark with the Pirates, where we don't know what happened.
No. We know one of my favorite memes that I post every year. Came to life.
Well, we don't know what started it. It was a black usher. According to what people were saying, the black usher was defending his female co-worker from this man's vitriol. They get in each other's faces. The white man said something to this brother and got met with the hands. I don't know what he said.
Let's watch the video.
Okay.
There was all type of stuff. I do think that spitting on someone is just uncalled for.
Oh yeah, if you spit on me, that's an act of violence. That's up there with terrorism for me, because I don't know because you could transmit a disease by spitting on somebody.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Here's the video. Allegedly, two fans were harassing a female worker. The usher in the white shirt came to her defense. The fan gets in the face of the usher, screams and spits.
Yes.
Fuck around and find out. The Pirates have suspended the usher. And then
shout out to the usher though.
Yeah, the text in the fan spits on PNC Park usher. PNC Park usher whips fan with belt.
Yes.
Took that belt off.
Yeah.
It's just like,
yeah, I don't think we need sound to it.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Because the sound really doesn't say it. But he does. He takes his belt off.
Right hand, left hand, right hand.
And whips it.
Right hand, left hand.
But again, it makes you wonder, right? And can look, we found out that this guy got suspended. I don't know if he's been identified. Can we start a GoFundMe for him?
Right.
Because if this was some white usher and he was like the figure beating up some like black, gangster looking or big black or brown people,
right,
they would be like, GoFundMe him. They would be telling the pirates to hire him back, treating him a certain different way. But when it's us, it's always looked at and framed in a negative way. And that's why we have the show.
I think
to show you that
these sports fans are getting out of control, and I do think that these corporations are going to have to be like, y'all cannot do this. You guys look like the European sports leagues who are throwing, bananas and making monkey noises.
Absolutely.
They still have not been able to get their fans and supporters under control.
Can't stop white supremacy.
So
Malcolm.
now
we're trying
that people, and again, if there is going to be some economic violence that's going to translate into racialized violence, these
he's taking off his belt. Pause.
Have to figure out what they're going to do, because no, you can't be treating employees like this.
No. And again, if I come into the defense of an employee and I'm telling you back up and you spit in my face, again, at that point I feel like I have a right to defend that man is self-defense. If I'm asking you to leave and you get in my face and you spit at me, I have the right to defend myself. And he kept spitting at him, and that's why dude took his belt off. You know what I'm saying?
It's also unfortunate that there are so few people at a professional ballpark stadium.
I mean, but that speaks to the team. Yeah. It's been raining. It hasn't been. We've we had a big ass storm. It's been a lot happening in Pittsburgh.
I said it's unfortunate.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. So, but at the same time, shout out to that dude. If we can, let's start a GoFundMe for him. Now, I did want to say about the white woman's GoFundMe that the person who it says the person who I guess if there's site. Heather Wilson, co-founder of Give, Send, Go, told NBC News that the fundraiser has not cleared the company's full verification process. No funds will be distributed until that person process is completed, which includes verifying the identity of the campaign organizer and their connection to the intended recipient. So, and then also it says the Rochester, Minnesota branch of the NAACP held a fundraiser to benefit the child, and they raised $341,000 for that child. So shout out to the NAACP in Rochester for supporting that family. And then we also have some black excellence.
Yes.
Well, let me read some black mail. We got a black mail from a viewer named Maria. Maria said to the One Hood crew.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Maria.
I just watched the episode with Dr. Kumanyika. Shout out to Chinjaraj when we recorded the first podcast in NYU ever.
That's right.
And their NYU studio. Shout out to us. She said, I think it's probably the best episode I've watched. I've only been watching the show for less than a year. I'm glad I found you guys.
Oh,
so shout out to her. She said Dr. Kumanyika was brilliant in his advocacy for analysts and journalists. I find that mainstream media is severely lacking in this aspect, and you're absolutely right. So shout out to Maria and shout out to those that have been watching. We're getting more YouTube comments and. No, I mean, you can go on Facebook if you want to, but it's kind of crazy over there. But anyway.
Facebook is like the wild one.
Yes, but thank you. If you want to send us any commentary about our show, go to info@onehood.org. That's info@onehood.org. Or if you want to support and buy merchandise, you can go to onehood.org, new merchandise, or you can call us. We got to record that woman who called us 3 times in a row.
Yeah.
About how racist we are. But our black excellence is for us. You know what I'm saying?
As it should be.
Yes. We are a 2025 Robert L. Vann Award finalists. You know what I'm saying? So the Robert L. Vann Awards is put on by the Pittsburgh Black Media Federation. We are finalists in the category of public affairs, politics, and government education. Our podcast, The Fourth Wall, which was the podcast we recorded immediately following Donald Trump's Wow, that was 100 days ago, huh?
I know.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow, it's crazy. The fourth wall. So shout out to us, you know what I'm saying? And thank you to the Pittsburgh Black Media Federation. And, you know, I guess we got to show up and see if we're going to get this award. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Ime and Your Mom's House, who does our video and videography as well. And I think, didn't Ime win a Webby?
Yeah, he won multiple Webbies.
Was that multiple Webbies?
He won 3, yeah. Yeah, that nigga swept.
They got all the Webbies.
Yeah, he got Webbies and Emmys.
Nigga got all the Webbies. So again, shout out, and that was for
the Ebony Canal.
The Ebony Canal, his documentary that's going all over the place. So a lot of black excellence happening. With that being said,
some of it was filmed here.
Yeah, I mean it's all of it was filmed here. Most
in the office.
Oh yeah, come
the
on.
Black Box.
Yeah, you already know what it is. Yep. With that being said, final comments. Miracle, is there anything coming up?
Yes, there is a lot of stuff happening, particularly if you're in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Our voter registration deadline has passed, but if you are registered to vote, we get ready to vote for our judges and our mayor and our school board, and our 501c4 100 Power has some endorsements coming out. So make sure you are, educating yourself about the May 20th election.
Yes.
And who you need to vote for, and why. Go over to our C4. Also, I love talking about mental health. And so our last episode of Brunch the Black Man just dropped. Please go and watch it. It's with Farouk's second favorite rapper, MAGA, because he's his favorite rapper. But please go and watch it.
Great interview.
Thank you.
Great interview.
Yes.
I heard you had a really good nigga feeding you some questions.
Anyways, go ahead and watch the interview.
Okay, Trump, you're gonna make it all about you.
See, it is always
you're gonna make it all about you, huh?
Always.
Wow. Do you have any final comments or words, Farouk?
I have the best words.
Okay. Well, and then also shout out to it was a lot of black excellence at the Met Gala. You know what I'm saying? So shout out
Paradise
to those.
Gray. Yo, large up Paradise.
Yeah.
Large up, man, like Paradise, the architect, got some of his shit at the Met. Yo, it was crazy.
I guess it would. I might feel a little certain type of way if I got the couture of and Brian Tyree Henry, actually, he's stunning.
Yeah, he was flexing.
But if you got all the fresh couture from all the designers, and then a nigga show up with a piano on his back.
Yo.
and he takes all the wind out of the room. Shout out to Andre 3000. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Brilliant artist.
And play his album, No Bars. I forgot what it's called. It's just a piano.
I do just want to give a quick shout out about the Met Gala.
Yes.
Friend of mine, Shakita Garcia, Style Chance the Rapper. Large up.
Wow, yeah. Yeah, she did a great job.
Yeah, large up Shakita. She is doing amazing things right now. So yeah.
And then my final thing.
Yes.
So my great grandmother, who was 106 years old, she passed away a couple of days ago.
God bless the dead, but what a life.
I just want to give a shout out to my family and to her. May her memory always be our shining star and a guiding light. But yeah, that is all that I have.
Absolutely. With that being said, this week in White Supremacy, we'll see y'all next week. Peace.
Peace.
One hood, y'all.